have to be a smart entrepreneur, be true to yourself, go back to your basics and what works for you. Just because it works for that person on stage telling the truth or lying doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It's the gym workout, right?
Yeah.
I can go share all my trade secrets with you, with everybody else. My gym workout.
Yeah.
You're not going to look as good as me. Is the camera rolling? I don't look that good. But even if I give you my workout.
Are you lying to me right now on stage? You son of a bitch.
No, but that's what I mean. I'll give you everything you want to know. But if you don't go and actually do every single repetition, every workout, everything, don't cut yourself short. Don't skip a day. Like, you're never going to have those results. Like, it's the same.
Well, I'm even going to double down on your insight about the accountability, stroking the check, and the whole thing, and who you become along the way. It's not a matter of knowing better or knowing different. There's that old adage, you do what you do when you know what you know, and when you know different, you do different. Sure, that's the opportunity, but that's all that is. Yep. If knowing different or being aware of different was all that was required, we would all have chiseled abs. We'd have 4% body fat, having the best sex of our lives, and driving, Maseratis or whatever, right? Like, it's not about knowing different. So then what is the gap? Well, if you throw your hat over the accountability ring and you just say, look, man, I'm a flawed human being. I'll lie to myself. I'll let myself down. But if I know I'm showing up with you across the proverbial table for me every week, I don't want to let you down.
Correct.
Gym accountability workout partners work pretty good in that regard. Totally. To keep the metaphor living.
That's exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
But money's important, and you're helping me on the money aspect and this check stroking. It's not just coaching too. I also have seen and know, in theory, I don't think it's luck. I don't believe in luck, but the more money you spend, in theory, the more successful you can be. You're your own weakest link. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you're not willing to invest in your business, you will hit the ceiling in a second. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe in the process, if you believe in the business, invest in yourself and the money will come. Don't be frivolous. Yeah. But that's where I see a lot of agents, businesses fail, is they're not willing to invest in themselves. And 100%. That's been struggle. So Em and I are yin and yang. We balance each other out significantly. I know every penny that's for my whole life. I come from an investment background for real estate, and I know every penny that's cut. And if I can go and shave off a penny here and there, but at some point I stopped doing that, and she got me to see that directly and indirectly. Time is important. Valuing the people that you do trust is important. Yeah. Going and spending the money in your business to get the results. Like, yeah, I could probably get that for $100 a month cheaper. But the time involved to cut $100, just go and do it and spend it and make, and the time is also associated with the money, which helps with the results. But agents don't spend enough on themselves because I don't think they believe in themselves.
Well, that's actually funny you say that. So, because here's what was coming up for me when I was hearing you play that out is some folks, and I would say most folks, if not all folks, and I was definitely here so I could speak from experience. I came from a blue-collar background, so it was so difficult for me to hire my first assistant.
Totally.
For me to be responsible for someone else's livelihood, bro, like I was having trouble wiggling my own oxygen mask on, but I couldn't break that $100,000 a year ceiling. And so, because I luckily wasn't so much of an asshole. I've been coached my whole life in athletics, so it made sense for me to get coaching professionally. So luckily that didn't find me too long into the game before I developed too many bad habits. But my coach is like, bro, you got to get an assistant. I did it. Boom, 3x my business the next year. You know this to be true. There's a whole history of that for you guys as well. Here's the part that's tricky though, is that sometimes we allow ourselves the identity and the dopamine squirt to be like, oh, no, I'm somebody who's coached. No, you're not going to get me on that. I pay for coaching. I get coached. But if you actually spelunk down and pull that shit apart a little bit, they're inside of a comfort zone as well. They're not really in there with that beginner's heart doing the real work that it took for them to actually say, I'm going to start coaching. Once you're already in the coaching program, it gets fucking comfortable. And you start to kind of get like, oh, it's all familiar. And then next thing you know, those edges start rounding off too. And you're over there lying to yourself out of two sides of your face. You're like, oh yeah, I'm getting coached. I'm stroking the check. I'm doing that. But if you actually take an audit, camera follow you around Dan Kennedy style, right? Like you're not really doing the things anymore. So I don't even know if you deserve that check anymore, meaning that the check I'm getting coached. So it's like, there's got to be a shake some shit up stuff that goes along with that as well. Does there not?
So we talking the assistant side or the coaching side?
I mashed that.
You put them together.
I didn't mean to confuse you about that what I was trying to paint was a personal account of the value of coaching, but then I wanted to flip it on its head and say, yes, but what got us here isn't also probably going to get us there. Like postulating that what if you get coached with Tom Ferry one year and then you go to Chet Black the next year? And then you go to, I don't know, help me out, dude. I don't even know. Give me the, yeah, there you go. Right. You know, or like my coach, Joe Stump, right? Yep. So that's interesting too, right? Because it's not like, oh, I'm a Laker fan and I just got my Laker and I'm a Laker for life.
So let's talk sports again.
Okay.
You just bring Lakers, I think Olympics, like whatever.
Okay.
So those athletes, they level up their coaches all day long.
Right.
But when they're picking coaches, Buffini has a style, Ferry has a style, even Mike Ferry, his dad has a different style.
Right.
So when it is a marathon in the sense of your occupation and your career, finding out who you are, and as you mentioned, these new agents, like figure out who you are. You're never going to be me. I don't want you to be me.
Right.
You be yourself.
Right.
You be the best self that you can be.
Right.
And then figure out how you're going to get to your end goal. So whether it's in a coaching or an assistant or whatever, who's going to help rise you to the top? And you're going to hit that ceiling. And you might change your coaches, or you might get a new assistant, or you might get a new agent on your team. But those people need to be aligned with your next step.
But you don't even know what you don't even know, though.
You don't.
That's the part that's insidious about this, hiding in plain sight. You might be growing because you're a fucking badass.
Right.
And you're executing at a high level and you're growing and you're like, oh, this shit's working. But what you don't know is maybe there's an opportunity cost to that, because we like things that are comfortable. We don't like change. Brain's number one job is to keep us alive. Second job is to procreate. Third job is to conserve energy. Conserving energy flies in the face of firing my coach, getting a new coach, ditching my CRM, getting a new CRM. Like all that shit is exhausting and kind of feels like it's knocking you off course. But if you take two people, 5 years side by side, one guy does a coach each year, the other guy does the same coach, I wonder who's further faster.
And there's that opportunity cost. And if you're going to go and cut that check, that will catch up with you. All it does is set you back. So if you're like,
say that again, I didn't get it.
Okay, so going back so you just said is you get to a point you're like, I don't need you anymore. You don't know what you don't know, so you get rid of your coach. Well, if you just 3x'd, you got rid of your coach and your production falls, which usually what does, because for whatever reason, whatever bucket your coach was filling is no longer being filled.
Right.
So if your production falls, all it is an opportunity loss and time.
Yeah.
And then you get back into the coaching or the mentoring or the business partner or the new assistant, whatever it is. That's just life. That's human nature. And it's
I think the
common
difference,
sense.
though, is that I'm not saying cancel the coach. I'm saying they're still coaching, but they just get one methodology versus one each year.
Yes, I agree with you. That's a crystal ball. You don't know. It depends on who the coach is.
It's not how I did it.
You like changing?
I did one coach forever.